Welcome back, Sober Family. This is another episode of Recovery Talk brought to you by Pro Recovery Power. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Today is going to be a great show. But before we get started, there's somebody, a good friend of mine, that turned 40 today. And that's Ian Bear. I just want to wish him a happy birthday, bro. Thank you so much for all you do. He's Ian from Sober Contracts. There you go. Check him out. And also, check this out. Scan that on your phone. Check out his YouTube page. It's awesome. So I hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. What's up, everybody? It's good to see all you guys here. I was very excited about today. But before we get into everything, I'll talk about PRP real quick for a second. So Pro Recovery Power, we are in the middle of turning PRP into a nonprofit organization. That is what Pro Recovery Power will be one day soon. Yes, we have recovery clothing. We go live at other alcoholics and addicts, telling their stories, inspiring hope. We have our own YouTube page. We got our own website. We do, but Pro Recovery Power will be a nonprofit organization here real soon. So today's guest, he's gonna be on the other end of the mic today. You guys all know him. It's Dylan from Not So Anonymous podcast. Super excited to get him in here. And hey, everybody. So without further ado, let's get him in and let's get this party started. What up?
Yo, you got me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, cool. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, bro. How's it going?
Hey, it's a hectic day right now, man. It's a super blessed day, but it's a little bit crazy right now. I'm in the process of helping my wife Bree her aunt out move right now. So took a jam break to jump on with you, man. I'm super excited to be here, dude.
Oh, right on, bro. Hey, thank you so much, man, for taking the
Oh,
time,
of
man. I really
course, bro.
appreciate it. Yeah. Hey, so how does it feel to be on the other end of the mic now?
Dude, it's nice, so one of the things that people tell me, or that I hear sometimes is, I get to learn a lot about the other guys, but I feel like I only get bits and pieces of you, Dylan, after each episode. So it's nice, man.
Yeah.
It'll be nice to be asked a question.
Yeah, right on, bro. So before we get started, I'm gonna ask you a few questions. The first one, Dylan, is how long you been sober?
I got clean on July 18th, 2019, man. So,
Yeah.
I'm just over 22 months, I believe, right now.
All right. Sorry, bro. Clean. I meant clean.
Oh no, I don't care, dude. Hey, I'm not a Nazi, bro. Like whatever, bro. Like free from all substances, like
Yeah.
alcohol,
All right.
drugs, all of it, bro. We're good, man. I'm not a
Okay.
Nazi.
Cool. And
Also
then,
sober, clean, just it's all good,
yeah,
dude.
right on. And where are you from?
I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, man. I was born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona. A lot of people in Phoenix, not many of us from Phoenix. So I am a native. So I'm watching my Phoenix Suns right now play the LA Lakers, and I'm losing my mind. And yeah, dude, it's been a roller coaster. I need to really work my program when I watch these playoff games. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, it's so funny you brought that up because I'm a big fight fan. So, actively drinking and using for 20 years, I always had drugs and alcohol when I was watching the UFC, I was watching boxing. And bro, my emotions would get so into it, like, oh my gosh, like I like fight already, like especially like when my guy loses, especially, and stuff like that. It's just crazy. And then okay, I gotta get more dope now. My guy lost. And then if my guy won, okay, I gotta get more dope too now, Yeah, I know what you mean, man. And last question, bro, is what was your choice in drink and or drug?
So my drug of choice varied over the years. For a while, it was alcohol. For a while, it was cocaine. For a while, I mean, in teenage years, it was just weed. But my final drug of choice was fentanyl. And I would, to this day, consider my drug of choice to be fentanyl.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, before I give you the floor to tell your story, I just wanted to, a couple announcements real quick, guys. So if you guys could go to our website, prorecoverypower.com. In the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little questionnaire survey because I talked about, Pro Recovery Power being a nonprofit organization. That will help move us forward in that direction. And also, we have our own recovery meeting. It's on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So without further ado, bro, everybody been waiting for this one. So you got the floor to tell us your story.
All right, man. Well, again, to anybody, and you still hear me all right, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool.
Yep. Okay.
I'm
I
one
lost
of
you.
the hosts.
Okay. No, sorry. Go ahead. Now I can
Good.
hear you. Yeah.
All right, cool. So, my name is Dylan. I'm one of the hosts of the Not So Anonymous podcast. I am a drug addict. In addition to that, man, I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a friend. I'm a lot of things. But what I am today, most importantly, first and foremost, is a man in recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep that no matter what, man. I was warned a long time ago by my sponsor, and I hear it in the rooms all the time, right? Like anything and everything that I put in front of my recovery, I will lose.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I tried for so long to disprove that theory. I tried to be special. I tried to think that I was a dude that can do it, but it just didn't work out. You know, and in my situation, I was the type of drug addict who gives everything away. Like I gave everything away to get one more bag, you know, and it didn't matter what it was. If it was my house, take it. The privilege of being a father, take it. My role as a husband, take it. My soul, take it. My relationship with God, I was uninterested in it. You know, anything and everything that stands between me and my next bag, man, that must and will go by any and all means necessary. And that's just how it goes. And it's not because I want to hurt people. It's not because I don't love someone, but I just have no idea how not to hurt people when I'm on drugs, you know? I was born, like I said, right here in Phoenix, Arizona, man, to two teenage parents. I want to preface anything right now, too, that I say about my childhood. I want to say that I do not believe that I had a bad childhood. I do believe that I had an inappropriate childhood at times. All right. I believe that my mom and dad did the very best that they could. My dad gave me a hell of a better upbringing than he received, you know?
Yeah.
I come from a long line of drug addicts and alcoholics. I am, to this day, the very first in my family to ever enter recovery. So that's been something. But like I said, I grew up here for any Arizona or Phoenix people, I grew up in the Maryville area. That's where I was originally born. It's like the West Side Phoenix area. Grew up, like I said, to two teenage parents. Again, my parents did a really good job. I firmly believe that I was loved. There was always a lot of love in the house. But I did see a lot of partying and whatnot from a very young age, and I began to think it was normal. I thought that that's how people interacted. I thought that that was just the thing to do. At a kid's birthday party, you know, it was normal to have this many kegs, you know what I mean? And you won't be able to tell, but I'm actually half Hispanic. My mother's Mexican, so I grew up in a Hispanic culture as well. And that's just big in Hispanic culture as well, you know, so. And I'm half Irish, so I was like, fuck from the start, right? Like, half Irish, half Mexican, like, I just like to drink, you know? So, but yeah, man, you know, and I do want to say, too, that despite anything, I do believe that I would be here regardless of, you could put me in the most sober family growing up in the world, I still believe that I turn out to be a drug addict, right? Just because I have no idea how to stop consuming drugs and alcohol once I put them in my body. But growing up, man, I had a lot of freedom. I had one rule. My dad put one rule on me. He said, Dylan, straight A's in school. As long as you get straight A's in school, Dylan, you can do whatever you want, for the most part, right? And I ran with that. And I, to this day, consider that my first mistake at social acceptability equaling personal recovery. Right. So if I could show you that report card that says straight A's, that means you can't tell me shit. I'm handling my business. I can do it all, right? Like, I have no consequences for my actions, you know? And I grew up thinking that, like, there was no consequences for my actions, you know? And with that freedom, I got to do a lot of really cool stuff. But it wasn't until I went to treatment that I learned that a lot of the things that I did and a lot of the ways that a lot of my character defects that one day tried to kill me were survival techniques as a child, you know? And just to give you an example, when I was 7 years old, concerts were real big. Going to concerts, festivals, all that type of stuff was real big in my household. My parents were teenagers, so, you know, I'd be 2, 3, 4 years old. My dad would have me on his shoulders, take me into the mosh pit, throwing me over fences because we're broke, you know, so we're sneaking to the concerts. Like, so that's like, that was, you know, all just, that's how we had fun, you know what I mean? So I'm 7 years old and I'm doing great, right? I'm 3-sport athlete, or I'm playing sports. I have my straight A's, all that type of stuff. I go to the Warped Tour. Now, if anyone's familiar with the Warped Tour, it's a huge concert, right? Huge concert, hundreds of bands, dozens of stages. It's like a music festival almost, right? I'm 7 years old. I get to go by myself with my friends. My buddy's 13 years old, all that type of stuff, right? So now I'm 7 years old at this huge music festival, and I get disconnected from my friends. So I'm 7 years old at a huge punk rock festival, back when they actually like kind of played punk rock, you know what I mean? And I'm 7 years old and I'm by myself. What I came to understand, and I had to this day, it's still one of the best times of my life. I went crowd surfing, I went in the mosh pit, right? Like all of it. I was so little that they were just tossing me, you know, like just throwing me as high as I could go. But what I learned, man, was that at an early age, from all of that freedom and all those behaviors that I was, you know, exhibiting and the stuff that I was doing, my ego had to be big enough to tell me that I was good, right? Like my ego had to say, I'm a badass. I can handle this situation in this crowd, right? My control tendencies kicked in. Like, I'm under control. I have everything under control. Like, so all of these things that would wind up trying to take my life one day were the things that kept me alive as a child. And it really blew me away to when I finally was able to learn about that type of stuff, man. So, again, you know, I had a lot of freedom growing up, you know, and then as I got older, again, I'm a 3-sport athlete. I'm on my skateboard from the time that I could crawl. And I love making music, right? So all of these different things. So I started gravitating more towards the solitary activities, such as making music, skating, and all that type of stuff. I still loved sports and all that type of stuff. To this day, I still do. But I started feeling alone. Those feelings of I'm all alone started creeping in. That void inside of me that was just empty and said I didn't belong anywhere started creeping in. You know, I was this white kid who's half Hispanic, but you can't tell walking around in a Hispanic neighborhood, right? I'm a punk rocker who makes hip hop music. I'm a skateboarder who plays sports year round. Like, I didn't know where I belonged, right? Like, and I felt like I didn't belong anywhere. So I just started self-isolating. You know, I spent a lot of time by myself. I would spend a lot of time just not wanting to be around people. Like, I didn't like people. And I just chalked it up to antisocial, man. That's what I chalked it up to, just antisocial. That carried into high school, man, you know, and I started smoking weed. I mean, I had smoked already before that, and I was drinking and all that type of stuff. So I'd done all that prior. But when I got to high school, that's when you know, it really kicked in hard, and I was hooked immediately. Like, I was like really, really hooked, and it didn't take long for something as simple as just bud to make me throw everything away. Like, I didn't want to play sports anymore. I didn't want to go to school anymore. All I wanted to do was chill with my boys, get high, and that was it, right? I wanted to skate, all of it. That's all I wanted to do. I remember the day, man. I remember the day I came home and I told my dad, I said, you know what? I think I'm done. I think I'm done playing sports. And he looks at me and says, son, that's going to be one of the worst decisions you ever made in your life. And I just looked at him. I was like, yeah, but my decision's made. So the next day I went and quit the football team, and it freed me up, right? Like, my will kicked in. I wanted to do what I wanted to do. I was selfish, self-centered to the core already back then. I didn't care about other people. I just wanted to make sure I was doing what I wanted to do. And what I wanted to do was whatever the fuck I felt like at that moment. You know, I didn't want any rules. I didn't want any structure. I didn't want any of that. So that's what I got. That's what I got, you know, and I ended up going further and further. I ended up going to 3 different high schools, and that was tough. Again, as a kid who already struggled in his own skin, struggled to feel like I belonged anywhere. Now I'm at 3 different high schools. I ended up going to 4 schools in 4 different years. So now I really can't even get to know anybody. I don't feel close to anybody. Now the isolation really kicks in. You know, now I really have no desire to be around anybody. I ended up graduating high school barely, man. And even back then, I was using things like manipulation. I was a senior in high school, and I was missing like all of my science credits. So I go, and math credits, by the way. So I go to the counselor, and I start telling her how bad I'm feeling because the classes are too hard, and how all these other kids are so smart and I'm so dumb, and I need you to do something to make me feel better. And anyway, I used manipulation. Mind you, I had straight A's up until the time I decided I didn't want to anymore, right? So I'm going to this counselor now and saying, hey, I can't do the work. You guys are making me feel bad. And it worked. She ended up letting me take like freshman classes, throwing me some credit. Like, it was a joke how I graduated high school, you know? But I did. I worked the system. I manipulated the system. I manipulated people. And I did, right? So even before I got into like the hard drugs and into recovery, right? Before I even understand that I'm an addict, I'm displaying addict behaviors. I'm doing all of these things, right? Doing whatever I got to do. Bleed confetti, absolutely. Master manipulator. That's exactly what I was, you know? And when I got out of high school, man, one of the worst things possible happened to me. I started getting a taste of success. That was one of the worst things that could happen to me. I was 18 years old, and I'm now working for this company on phone sales, doing phone sales, cold calling, right? Now, my manipulation skills are about to come in handy, and they're about to prove lucrative, right? Because now I'm cold calling people, and I'm selling them these products or whatever it is, and I start making thousands of dollars. Now, for a poor kid from Maryville to make thousands of dollars a week at 18, 19 years old, boom, ego, super deadly now. Super out of proportion. Like, now I really think I'm the shit. Now I really think I'm unstoppable. Now I really think there's no consequences for me, right? I end up starting my own business. And again, I have success. The worst thing that could have happened to me is I had success. Now, I told you about my report card as a child, right? If I show you the straight A's, that means you can't tell me anything. Well, my paycheck and my bank account was now my new version of my report card. Okay, social acceptability equals personal recovery, right? So now I'm telling you, hey man, you can't tell me anything. I understand I'm drinking and smoking a lot, but you really can't tell me anything because look at the paycheck, look at the bank account, look at the business. I'm doing just fine. Worry about yourself. I'm sorry that you can't handle your business, but I can handle mine, right? I thought that. I truly thought that, you know? So before I realized I was an alcoholic, the alcoholism started winning. I went from a successful business, thousands of dollars every week, to in a year's time, being the guy who is scraping up change to grab a tall can as soon as the convenience store was allowed to sell beer. I remember asking my wife, like, yo, Bree, you got like 11 cents on you? You know, like, I would literally ask for just random bits of change because now I needed a tall can. I decided that it wasn't the drinking what was the problem, it was the work. So I just needed to go back to work because at that point I had shut the business down and I just started fucking drinking and golfing. I got really good at golf, actually, during that time. But I got even better at drinking. So I shut the business down. I live like I'm retired for a year. My drinking starts winning. I'm scraping up change to buy a tall can. Something's got to change. It's not the alcohol. It's not me. It's not the drugs. But something's got to change, right? So I fell in love with golf during that time. So I decided that I'm going to go start working at a golf course. And when I started working at this golf course, man, that's kind of when the drinking even picked up a lot more. And I started doing a lot more things like cocaine and Adderall. So by the time I'm out there, you know, what I would do is I would grab a 12-pack, I'd put it in the ice chest of the golf cart, and I'd park them up where no one could get to them. And then I'd do my work with cold beer in the ice chest, a bag of cocaine in my pocket, and some pills in my pocket, you know? And that's what I thought was normal. And I did not think that I had a problem. Had you told me I had a problem, I would have told you that you're tripping. I'm sorry that you can't handle your stuff, but I'm doing just fine, you know? And I believed it, man. Like, that's the craziness about it is I truly believed it. And during this time, I had no relationship with God. Like, I had known about God. Like, people told me about God, but I was uninterested in a genuine relationship with God, right? Because if I got to, you know, that's going to mess up my high, right?
Yeah.
So things continued like that for a while, man. And then I got introduced to painkillers, opiates. This is when I truly consider, like, I'd met my match. Like, up to this point, you couldn't convince me I had a problem. And for a while, you couldn't convince me I had a problem with these painkillers neither, you know? So I started taking painkillers. I would get painkillers from some family of mine. And I remember distinctly what got me hooked about these painkillers. It was not only was my physical pain gone, but the pain in my mind was gone. And I thought I found it. Like, I legitimately thought I had found the cure to my problem. I thought I found the answer. I thought I found the solution. Like, I was dead set convinced, like, yo, this is it. But I wasn't a drug addict. You snort them, I eat them. I'm not a drug addict. You're a drug addict, right? And then one by one, man, I started doing things that I said I would never do. And in the process of this, my daughter, we're in the process of adopting my daughter. She's actually right here in the car with her headphones on, so I kind of got to be a little bit careful. I'm sorry, I didn't mean for it to be like this. But we're in the process of adopting my daughter. And I started falling into this opiate addiction, man, and it starts getting bad. It just starts off on oxycodone. And I get really, really hooked on oxys, man. And before I realize it, I'm in trouble. And I remember the first time that I felt the withdrawals, and I'm thinking, what in the hell is going on? Like, I don't know what this is, you know? And it started kind of tripping me out. And then again, all the things that I said I wouldn't do, well, now I'm doing it. Oh, well, you snorted, I eat it. I'm not a drug addict. Well, now I'm snorting it. Oh, but you're smoking it, and I'm just snorting it. So now I'm not a drug addict. You're a drug addict, right? That comparison almost killed me too, man. Like, I started comparing what everyone else was doing. Oh, but you're using a needle. I'm just smoking it. See, I'm not a drug addict. You're a drug addict, right? So I started really believing these things, man. And we're going through the adoption process, and it's strenuous, man. It is a very, very difficult process, and it's a lot of legal stuff, and it's just exhausting. My wife and I are getting our ass kicked. It's really tough on us, and I'm diving deeper and deeper into my addiction. The adoption finally becomes finalized, but by that time, man, I was a full-blown fentanyl addict. I had switched over to fentanyl, and once I did fentanyl, there was no going back. There was nothing else out there that would ever touch what I was doing. And I developed a massive habit. My habit was costing me $300 a day. And I was just absolutely trapped, man. And I remember around this time is when I walked into my first Celebrate Recovery meeting. And for anyone out there who doesn't know what Celebrate Recovery is a Christ-centered 12-step program. I went to my wife because I was tired, right? Like, I knew I had a problem. Like, this point, like, I had suffered enough that I knew I had a problem. And I went and I came clean with my wife because I was going to detox myself. And I knew that I needed her help to detox me. So I went up to her and I told her what I was doing. And her heart was broken. And it was, to this day, one of the most difficult conversations I've ever had in my entire life. And she was freaked out, flipped out, all of it, you know, because up to that point, I wasn't doing good. Everyone was asking her, like, hey, what's wrong with Dylan? What's up with Dylan? And she was coming up with every excuse in the book. Oh, he's just going through a lot. Oh, he's just tired. Oh, he's just depressed, yada, yada. Why is he in the bathroom so long? His stomach really hurts. You know, like all this type of stuff. So I came clean with her, man. I told her what I was up to, and I went to a meeting. And I walked into my first meeting, and I was just trembling, dude. Like, I was scared. It was really, really difficult to walk into that meeting for the first time and expose myself. I felt like I was exposing myself. Now, everybody's going to know that I'm an addict. Everybody's going to know I have a problem, right? Like, I was so scared to take that mask off because up to that point, again, I was all about social acceptability. I wanted you to see the Facebook life. I wanted you to see the vacation, the house, the kid, the car, the girl. I wanted you to see that because if you've seen that, then I could say, see, I don't have a problem. This was the first time I had stepped out and got honest and said, you know what, like, I'm not good right now. I have a problem. Like, I have a problem. I had an amazing meeting, man. You know, I started going to that Celebrate Recovery, and that's where I met my sponsor. My sponsor came out, talked to me for an hour. This was the first time I'd ever spoken honestly with somebody about how I was feeling, and it blew me away. It blew me away at the willingness that these people had to come out and talk to me because I think I'm scum. I think I'm garbage. You know, I have no self-worth at all, yet this person is coming out like, yo, man, I just want you to know God loves you. I love you. I'm here for you. He's here for you. Have a conversation. I'm like, what? You got to be kidding me. You know, and I went home, and that meeting really stuck with me. unfortunately, I wasn't ready, man. I wasn't fully ready, you know? So I would try to detox myself time and time again, right? And each time thinking I could really do it by myself, because even though I went to that meeting, I wasn't convinced in here that I needed your guys' help. I didn't think I really needed the 12 steps, right? Like, I thought I could do it by myself. Like, they would talk about the 12 steps, and I would be like, yeah, you guys got to do the 12 steps, but I don't think I have to, right? Like, I'll come to your meeting every now and again, but I'm good. I just need to kick these drugs. If I can kick these drugs, we'll be fine. And I really thought that there was nothing wrong with me. It was just the drugs now at this point that I just had to get rid of. So I would detox myself time and time again off the couch, man. Going through it, man. Ready to chop my legs off because of the restless legs. Trying to rip my skin off because it doesn't fit anymore. Getting into a hot bath and then having to hop out because it's too hot. And now I'm sweating and now I don't know what to do. And I can't control my bodily functions, like, over and over and over again, because I thought I could do it by myself. And I swore to myself, I was like, I can do it. I don't need your help. I can do this shit. Like, I swear to God, it's going to be different. It's going to be different tomorrow. Watch. Only to wake up the very next day, repeat the exact same fucking actions, and put myself right back in that self-induced prison that cost me $300 a day to get out of. Mm-hmm. I was lost, man. And I had no idea how to do this. After so long, man, I remember this one time sticks in my heart, you know, because it was one of those how the fuck did this happen moments. I'm detoxing myself for the umpteenth time, and I went and got Suboxone. And I figured, see, that's what was missing. I didn't have Suboxone before. Now I got Suboxone, I can do it on my own, right? Because now I got Suboxone, I'm going to be good. That was my problem. So I wait 48 hours, right? And my sponsor told me, Dylan, you got to stay moving. I know it's hard. I know it sucks to try to stay moving when you're detoxing. So I decided I was going to go play golf. How I was playing golf day 2 of fentanyl withdrawals is, like, beyond me, first of all. Like, I was just in a crazy mindset, you know? So I go play golf, but I'm sick, man. So as soon as the 48-hour mark hit from my last use, I took a Suboxone. I threw myself into one of the worst precipitated withdrawals that I had ever experienced in my entire life. I'm 45 minutes from my house at this golf course playing golf with my uncle and my cousin, and I look at them and I just look at them and I say, hey, I got to go. No explanation, no nothing. I got to go. I don't feel good. Peace out. I'm at the furthest part of the golf course from my car, by the way, and these golf carts are going 2 miles an hour, and I'm just dying. I'm absolutely dying, man. I finally get back to my truck, or get back to my Jeep at the time. I get in the Jeep, and I call my dude. I'm like, hey, man. And mind you, I'm trying to get clean, so I threw away everything, right? Like, I threw away what I crushed them up on. I threw away the foil. I threw away everything. So I didn't have anything to use them with. I call my guy, but again, I'm 45 minutes away, and I'm sick, man. Really, really sick. If anyone out there has been in precipitated withdrawals, you know what I'm talking about. So I finally get in my Jeep, and I pull out of the golf course, and it's on a super busy corner. Like, there's like a gas station and a casino on this corner, so it's like super, super busy. I got a shit, and I can't hold anything, right? Like, I am desperately sick. I pull off on the street, and I run to the corner, and I'm just there going to the bathroom in front of everyone, in front of all of these cars, man. Like, a busy intersection is just fucking watching me do this. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God. Like, what did I do to myself? Like, what? I'm sitting here shitting in front of hundreds of cars because I'm dope sick. What is happening? I finally managed to get into my Jeep, and I get back to where I need to get to. And I get back to this Maryvale McDonald's. This McDonald's in a bad part of Phoenix. If anyone out there knows about Maryvale, if I tell you a McDonald's bathroom in Maryvale, you will know what I'm talking about. It's a disgusting place to be, right? So I finally meet my guy, but again, so I get my pill, I get the fentanyl from him, but again, in here, you know, it's stamped in the pills, but I threw everything away, so I don't have anything to crush them, I don't have anything to smoke them, nothing at all. So I start chewing these things up, and I have to chew about 5-6 of them before I even have the strength to walk at this point. And I finally crawl into that bathroom because that's where I'm going to go use my drugs, is in that bathroom. And I'm sitting there laying on that floor next to piss and shit all over the floor, right? And that's what I'm laying on. And when I was laying there on that bathroom floor with all of that human freaking feces and human waste on that floor with me, that's exactly how I felt. That is exactly how I felt. That floor was me at that moment, right? Low and dirty, just nasty, just gross. And I felt that way. And I thought to myself, how did this happen? Like, how in the world did I let it get this bad? I never set out for this. This is not what I intended to do. How did it get this bad? I had dreams, right? Like, I thought I was the shit. I was running a business. I was making money. I was doing, like, the Facebook life, all that. Like, how did this happen? Now I'm just another junkie breaking into my daughter's piggy bank, hoping to get $5. Like, how did that happen? And that's how it went on for a little while longer, man. But that day stuck in my heart. It came to a point where I thought my only way out of my addiction was suicide. I truly believed that the only way that I was ever going to experience any kind of freedom was to take my life. I didn't see any hope for me. I had tried. I can't do it by myself. I went to your meeting. I didn't work your steps, but I went to your meeting. That didn't work for me, right? I know about God. I don't have much of a relationship for him, but I don't think he's going to help me right now. I have to take my life. And that was my plan, man. I was going to write letters to my daughter, and I was going to explain to her why daddy couldn't be there to watch her grow up. I was going to write a letter to my wife. I was going to write a letter to my family. And I was going to drive up to Prescott, Arizona. And I was going to end my life there. That's what I felt I had to do. I'm sitting in my daughter's room one night, and my wife comes in. And I don't know what she spotted, but she spotted something. Because I'm as beaten and broken and as tired as I have ever been in my entire life. She looks at me, she asks me the same question that she asked so many times before. She asked me the same question and I said no to so many times before. She looks at me, she says, Dylan, are you finally ready to get help? Are you ready to go to treatment? And I looked at her, and as broken as I've ever been, I said, you know what? I'm ready. I'll go. I will go to treatment. And because God had a personality or a sense of humor, man, and because he's been working in my life the entire time, even when I didn't want him to, she comes up to me and she says, great, I found this rehab center in Prescott, Arizona, and that's where I'm going to send you. She had no idea that's the spot that I had picked out to end my life, right? So on July 17, 2019, I snorted my last fentanyl pill in the QT bathroom, and I went up to Prescott, Arizona, not to end my life, to begin my life, man. So July 18, 2019, that's my sobriety date. It's a date that I hold close to my heart. Forget my real birthday. I don't care about it. My sobriety date, that is a date that I hold so dear to me, man. And that was a wild time for me. You know, it was a really wild time for me. I got to treatment. I knew I needed help. I knew I couldn't do it by myself anymore, right? That part I understood. But I wasn't convinced that I was you guys, right? I just thought I needed help getting clean now, right? So I'm at detox. Now I'm at detox, and I'm telling everyone, yeah, I just need to get clean, right? I'm corresponding with family, and I don't need to be here. I don't belong here. I ain't these people. You know, like that's how I felt, right? Still refusing to accept my reality and accept who I was. I get there and I go through an excruciating 8-day cold turkey fentanyl withdrawal. The nurses are flipping out, losing their minds, asking me why I'm not taking Suboxone. They asked me, what do you want us to do for you then? I said, lock the door. Don't let me leave. That's what I want you to do for me. Just keep me here. And I went through it, man. It was really bad. They sent me to the hospital. They thought I was dying at one point. So now I'm in a hospital room all by myself, you know, away from family. And I'm just feeling broken, man. I'm feeling lonely, you know. But I'm still not accepting the fact that I need you guys, right? I just needed you to get clean, right? I just needed you guys to help me get off the drugs. But I don't need you guys, right? I finally, up to this point, it's probably a couple weeks now. And I can't talk to my daughter. I haven't worked up the strength to talk to my daughter yet. I'm talking with my wife on the phone, and my daughter's in the background, and just the sound of her voice is bringing me to tears. So I can't do it. Finally, I work up the strength, and I think I'm okay. I say, you know what? Yeah, let me talk to her. You know, let me talk to her. She gets on the phone, and she's 3 years old at this time. She gets on the phone, she says, Daddy. First thing she says is, Daddy, Are you finally coming home today? When she hit me with that, bro, that was that metaphorical and literal hit my knees moment. Sorry, that part like gets me still, man. Sorry.
It's getting me too, bro. It's getting a lot of people.
I told her, no, baby, I'm sorry. Daddy still got some more work to do. I'll be home soon. And when I told her I couldn't come home to see her, man, it just absolutely broke me. But I thank God for that moment, man. Like, God set up that phone call because it was at that moment that I accepted and understood I'm right where I need to be. I'm with who I need to be with. And these are 100% my people. Like, I belong here, right? And when I did that, man, like the light switch turned on, man. And I started experiencing a camaraderie and a brotherhood like I never experienced in my entire life up to that point. These guys that I was at my sober living with, man, because I did the detox and I went to the residential stand. We stayed in a house, and then, while we did all our stuff. So it was like a sober living setup. Then we go to the facility for our groups, our treatments, and all that type of stuff. I experienced a brotherhood and a camaraderie with these people that I never experienced before. All of a sudden, I'm having conversations as honest as I've ever had. I'm having the most intimate conversations that I've ever had in my entire life. It's blowing me away, right? And in spending 30 days with this dude, I'm like, bro, I love you, man. He's like, I love you too, man. Like, we connect on so much. It blew me away because I hadn't experienced human connection like that up to that point. And I'm a big huge, big believer that the opposite of addiction is, in fact, connection. I truly subscribe to that theory. So I hadn't experienced that connection up to that point. But when I was able to experience that connection, and I got honest with my therapist, and I got honest with the people around me, and I was being honest in meetings, like, it blew me away how much it helped me, not just emotionally, mentally, but spiritually, man. And it's crazy. So the first thing that I did, when I got out of treatment is I went to a meeting. I went to 3-4 meetings a day if I needed to, and I started building that relationship with God because God never left me. Like, he let me do my thing because I would ask him all the time, like, God, like, man, leave me alone, bro. Like, there's a bunch of people on Sundays that clearly want your help. There's a bunch of people in these meetings over here that keep talking about you, and they clearly want your help. I don't want your help right now. Leave me alone. And he did. He did what I asked him to do, and he let me destroy myself in a manner that I never thought possible. So when I got out of treatment, man, after experiencing that beautiful experience that I had, I went to a meeting, man, and I started working on my relationship with God. And to this day, like today, man, I truly consider myself to be a part of God's army. The way that he uses me and the way that I've seen him use people absolutely blows my mind. I started being of service. Again, that same Celebrate Recovery that I walked into that very first time, that is today my home group. I still go to NA, like I still go to meetings all the time, but that is still my home group. I volunteer for them. The pastors at my church listen to my podcast. Like all of these things, they allowed, as you showed on your page, they allowed me to share my story with the entire church on the big screen. Like, so all of these things that God is using me for, it's just blowing me away. And I just love how we could take a sinner just a person like me, a scummy dude, and use them for God's work. Like, that blows me away. And I'm sure I'm turning some ears off maybe when I'm using the God word, but like, that's just how it is for me, man. Like, that's how it is for me. I just love the fact that he picks boys boys and girls from the gutter and has them do the work for him. Like, that's what I feel like I'm doing, and it's humbling. And I don't deserve any credit for it, man. Like, it's nothing that I'm doing. Like, it's all stuff that was freely given to me. I don't deserve to be forgiven. I don't deserve any of that, but I am. And I build this relationship with God and my Father, and it just blows me away, and it allows me to do things like talk to people, in the recovery community, go to H&I, do the podcast, all of these things, man. These people that message us, like, it blows my mind that I could be of any service to anybody, because it wasn't long that I felt like I was useless and I couldn't even be of service to myself. I hated myself so much I wanted nothing to do with life. Now I can honestly say that I'm building the strongest relationship that I've ever had with myself. I love myself. I'm building the strongest relationship I've ever had with God and with my friends and family. So it's a journey, man. It's been a hell of a journey, Alika.
Yeah. It sounds like it, bro. I mean, thank you, bro, so much. I was so excited for this. I mean, I kind of heard, on your guys' podcast, bits and pieces, but I was like, nah, I want the cake. I want the cake, And bro, bro, you truly, truly amazing story, and the way you deliver it, and it's such masterly detail, and how you talk about your experiences, man. Honestly, bro, you made me cry a few times. I just know I was just hiding it. A lot of people are talking about that, because I can relate, bro. It's so relatable. Although, you have Hispanic, Irish. I actually have a little bit of Irish blood too, but I'm more Hawaiian blood. I'm from Hawaii, from Arizona. A lot of differences, but the feelings, the things you did, I can totally relate, bro. Like, I did the same thing. I felt the same way. How did I get to this place? I told myself I'm never gonna do this ever. And the thing about that is, people looking on the outside, looking in at us, like, they think they're just lying. Like, no, I meant it. That's it. I was a genuine, no, that's it. But I couldn't stop, and I didn't know why, bro. But I mean, like, we gotta go live again, bro. like you,
Hey, I'm down, bro. I'm down, man. Because that, what you just said too, I think is so important. Because, I was having a conversation with someone recently, and she was saying, and I think she's on here. I won't say her name, but she was saying that she didn't feel like sharing because she didn't think her problems were like worth sharing, right? Like, it was that comparison thing, and it doesn't matter the experience. What I have found is that the feelings, man, the feelings are there. You might be in Hawaii, I might be in Arizona, but we're feeling the same thing, man.
Yeah.
And that connection, bro, like I said, that connection, I think is really, really powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely agree with you on that one. The opposite of addiction is connection, definitely. But that's something I learned about you today. You're half Hispanic. I didn't know that, bro. You
No
speak
one
any
would,
Spanish?
yeah.
Yeah, you speak any Spanish?
Yeah, sí, yo puedo hablar, poquito.
Poquito, poquito, poquito.
Mi esposa habla muy bien.
Yeah, my wife's Guatemalan, but she don't teach me how to speak Spanish.
Oh, yeah, man. Get her.
Yeah, but you know what, man? I mean, like, your whole entire story, for me to just listen to it and just think about all these things you went through, and all the places, like, God allowing you to run in your own will, and you end up on the bottom of the dirty floor of the McDonald's bathroom, all the feces and waste and trash, and bro, everything I can relate to, everything. But all of that tells me, man, that, like the words that come to my mind when I was listening to you was God's grace, bro.
For
Same thing with
real.
you. I didn't deserve it. I cannot earn it. It was a gift that was given to me. And that's why I started to get real emotional when I heard you talk like that, because I experienced the same exact thing. Bro, I was blasting lines in church when I was like
Oh,
in my teenage years. I
oh
was doing
yeah.
all kinds of stuff. I'm over there all high. I'm like, trying not to, like, hopefully nobody noticed. I'm all sweating, and stuff. I mean,
Oh,
so many things.
my wife has woken me up in church numerous times.
Oh,
Like, dude, falling asleep in a Bible study, falling asleep in church. And, that was what was so emotional, too, for me, is when the church shared my video, when I got to finally.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, when I finally got to share that, because I remember sitting in that room, and it's a really big church, and I remember sitting amongst those thousands of people and watching them show stories of, like, triumph and just comeback stories. And I'd be bawling my eyes out in the crowd, wondering why I can't get it together. Like, I can't do this. And I was crying, and I was so broken for so long, man, just years and years and years of being shattered and broken, and watching those people and thinking I can never do that, to flip it around. And now I'm on the screen, and I'm sitting in the audience. It was mind blowing, bro. It was an emotional experience, bro. Like, it was
Yeah.
spiritual.
I bet, bro. Because it's so funny you said that. Because, like, like, I would hear, like, acting my addiction. I would see that stuff at church all the time. In business, I was in financial services, so we'd have different seminars and different trips. We'd go to different places, and I'm hearing people on the stage talk about how their life changed. And inside, I'm so broken. I'm like, I wish that was me. I wish that was me. I wish that was me. And then after a while, I stopped wishing that was me, because every time I try to fight back against this disease that I was suffering from, it would just, bro, it would, like, no contest. It would landslide victory. Drugs and alcohol had over me, but like today, like, I'm on the other end now. We are on the other side of this line, man, bro. And you have a very, very, very powerful story, bro. You really do, man. I'm sure somebody here feels the same way as I do, and like, your wife, bro, your wife, man. Wow, she's superwoman, man. You
She's a
know,
stud,
I
bro.
mean,
She's like the backbone. She's the one who runs like the social media for not so not like. So I try to respond to it. I try to respond to the comments and the messages and type of stuff. But like for the most part, like she's the one who runs the Instagram. Like she's like the backbone of the podcast, bro. Like she's like a beast, man. She's a beast, bro.
yeah. She reminds me a lot of my wife, man, because it seems like your wife, she's very supportive of you. And so is my wife, because you know what? She sees me being consistent. She sees me doing the work. I'm not lying to her about, okay, I'll go to a meeting, but I really can go hang out with my friends or do
Right.
something, things like that. And the thing about it, it sounds like, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but my wife is like this way as well. She supports me, period. Like she supports me when it's inconvenient. She supports me.
Oh yeah.
She supports me when she doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
And like, I cannot make that happen. Like that's God's doing. Like I cannot do that. I can't make that happen. But
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you, bro. I'm so glad I got to know more about you today. This has been
Thanks.
awesome. But as we wind it down, bro, I'm gonna ask you some questions. The first one is really good. I like this one. So can you describe a spiritual experience you've had?
So one of the things, and this, all right, you still hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I got you.
So one of the spiritual experiences that I had, man, is not. All right, I'm trying to bring myself back because this is like it really blew me away. So I'm at the time trying to get a loved one of mine into a detox, and it's like a 15-hour wait. And I know what it's like to detox. I think I had like 9 months clean at this time. And so I'm watching this kid kick out my windows, like do all this crazy stuff. He's going through it. And I end up taking him back to the house, and I go to my wife, and I'm like, "Hey, I need you to bust out all the old tricks. He's detoxing right now. All the stuff you did for me 11 times, I need you to do that for him." Um, so she goes and she does that, and we end up not getting him into the detox. He ends up taking off, right? And it broke my heart because I was trying so hard to get him in, and it broke my heart, man. And I just started flipping out, and I started really like getting down and out about it. So I looked over, man, and my Bible's on my nightstand. I said, God, I need you to talk to me right now. Like, I need you to talk to me right now. I grab my Bible and I'll just flip it to a random page, just a random page. I don't guess, I don't do nothing, I don't try to pick it. I just flip it to a random page. And the first thing that I do is I pick a page and it says, it's about a woman going to Jesus saying, hey, will you please heal my brother? Will you please heal my brother? He's so sick right now. And it tells a story about a woman praying for her brother. Blew me away. The next day, I'm still down and out about it. I'm like, you know what? You can't do it again, God. Like now I'm tempting God. Now I'm like saying, you can't do it again, right? You can't blow my mind again. I have this app on my phone, the YouVersion app. It's a
Yeah.
Bible app. So I pull up that app. I'm like, you know what? Because this time I ain't flipping a page. Now I got to click on the app. Now I got to click on a book. I got to click on a verse, a chapter, all that type of stuff. Like you can't do it again. He didn't even wait for me to do that. I open up the app and the first thing it just says is, let's pray for that loved one of yours in addiction right now. First and
Wow.
last time I've ever seen that in my entire life on that app. I started crying, man, and I just felt his presence, and I said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for testing you. Like, you told me not to test you, but I tested you. And you won again. Like, I can't. Like, you win. And it was just, I've had so many, man, but that's one that sticks out to me to this day. It was big.
Oh, right on. That's great, bro. That's amazing, man. Next question, Dylan, is what's one of the best pieces of advice you received in recovery?
To humble myself. When I was at this meeting, and I'm 2 3 months clean at this time, and I'm at a meeting, and this old timer comes up to me, and he'd been hearing me share, yeah, and he comes up to me and says, you know what, Dylan, you got a paycheck personality, kid. You need to humble yourself and wash dishes. And I just looked at him. I said, for real? Okay. So I literally went, and at this point, I think I'm the shit, right? Because I was slanging real estate, I was doing this, I was doing that. Like I thought, like I was good, right? I'm like, all right, I'll wash dishes because I was down to do anything. And that's not like any disgrace to washing dishes at all, but I was just willing to do anything it took to stay clean because I was terrified to go back to that life, man. So when he told me to do that, I was like, yo, all right, cool. So I didn't end up washing dishes, but what I did do was get a job at a warehouse loading boxes and loading trucks with a bunch of 18, 19-year-old kids making the least amount of money that I'd ever made in my entire life. I went from selling commercial real estate, doing real estate deals, to I'm loading trucks with 18-year-old kids. I was humbled, but I stayed there, dude. I stayed there and I worked my ass off and I humbled myself, and I'll never forget it, man. This place required boots to go work there. I didn't have any boots. I was so broke. So not only am I humbling myself by going and getting this job that I think I'm above at the time, now I got to have my girl buy my boots because I can't even afford boots, right? I get those boots, I go there, and by the end of my run, those boots are me. Those boots are ripped to pieces. I glued them back like 10 times because I couldn't buy new boots. So I glue them back over and over and over, and they were just worked and they were just ugly and all of that, but they got me through. They were beaten, broken, glued back together, who knows how many times, but they got me through. And I look at those boots and I'm proud, man, because that's me. I was beaten, broken, had to be glued back together so many times, but I made it out of it. I made it out by the grace of God. I'm here right now. You know, so that job, man, going and humbling myself, that's a huge part of the foundation of my recovery.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, nobody ever told me that, but I needed that. God told, like, so I can kind of share. I can relate to what you're saying because I was in the financial services industry. So, like, you know, I mean, sales was part of it. I also received passive income for people I trained. They get licensed to anything they did. I make money. So, you know, I was, you know, winning trips, traveling all over the world. You know, nobody would ever look at me and go, "Oh, alcoholic, drug addict." You know what I mean? They're not gonna say that. You know. But
Absolutely.
so my head was huge. I mean, I had a huge ego, a lot of pride. I lacked humility to the max. So I was doing all of this, and then I moved to California. I get into recovery here. My first job that I ever took, I worked at Chevron, cleaning toilets, checking people. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but I was up here. All of
Right.
a sudden, I'm down. I mean, that's so much humility was involved in that for me. But that's exactly what I needed, man. I never struggled with it. I never fought it because I needed to pay for my sober living that I was at. So I would walk to work too, no car. I'd have to walk to work, walk back home. You know, it was such a something that God knew I needed, and that's why He opened doors, man. Okay, sober living, but you gotta pay. Boom, I got you a job right here. It was random. I went to go put gas, and they were doing this like interviewing thing. So I went over there and I talked to them, and boom, they hired me. You know, amazing,
Dude,
bro. So much
I love
similarities,
that.
man.
I love
Yeah.
that, man. I absolutely love that because it's so true. You know, my wife worked for American Express Travel, so we got to go travel a lot too. So during this time when I think I'm the shit with slanging real estate and all this type of stuff, she's also getting like these travel perks. So we're going to like Hawaii, Tahiti, Dubai, Africa, like all these places. And same thing. No, I'm like showing you this Facebook Live. No way you think I'm an addict. Here I am in Dubai at like one of the most prestigious resorts that they have, like where royalty stays and all that type of stuff. And I'm sneaking like opiates in my pocket like the whole
Yeah.
time, you know, like it was just wild, man. So it's absolutely true. So to go from all of that to now it's time to go load trucks to stay clean, it was humbling, but it was. I'm so grateful for it, man. Like it's
Yeah.
something I would never give away. I'm incredibly grateful for that experience.
Yeah, me too, bro. Me too. Kind of shift gears real quick. This next question: what's your favorite episode of the Not So Anonymous podcast?
Dude, so my favorite episode is one that actually got probably like the least amount of downloads. And I think it's just because of the title was so stupid. But it's 1-800 Get Goomered. Goomer talks about my buddy Goomer, who I absolutely love to death. He went to rehab in Tijuana, Mexico. And if you guys have not heard episode 2 of Goomer Goes to Rehab episode 2, please go and check that out because his rehab experience is legitimately the most insane rehab experience I've ever heard in my entire life. And it's absolutely hilarious. Um, and we recorded that before we even knew how to do a show. We're still learning how to do a show, but we recorded it very raw. That episode's actually the first time we ever sat down to record. So he has a crazy story, but in 1-800-GET-GOOMERed, he talks about what would have happened if he got in trouble at that rehab, where he would have went. And it's just a really good episode, man. He cracks me up in that episode. It's all about going to treatment and accepting help and going to rehab, which I'm really passionate about, is accepting help and going to treatment. So 1-800-GET-GOOMERed, man. That's probably like episode.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned that a few times actually about being in treatment and being able to have real conversations and honest ones. Because I work in treatment, so like it happened to me yesterday. I was down at the treatment center, and you know, the employees there, they don't spend a whole lot of time around these people. You know, of course they gotta, you know, see the counselor. I facilitate groups and stuff, but I mean, like, I get in there with them. I go hang out with them. I sit down with them. I talk with them. I'm like, God, this is my people. Like, I fit in right here, you know, and they can relate to me. I can relate to them. So, you know, I mean, all kind of different personalities, you know. Get one guy, one kid, he thinks he's some gangster, and he's like, you know, 90 pounds, soaking wet, you know, and I understand, you know, I get it, you know. It's all kinds of different people, you know. But the next question, bro, is, because I know personally that you recover out loud. You know, you guys are not so anonymous, obviously. Next question is, have there ever been any negative consequences from recovering out loud?
So, for the most part, it has been amazing, and the embrace has been unlike anything I've ever experienced. I would say personally, you know, because, you know, I'm still in real estate, I still do business. I have lost some business because of it. You know, I think when people learn the truth about my past, it's a bit shocking for some people. But that was something that I had to think about, and I'm willing to lose that business if I get to continue having conversations like this. Because this is where this is the rich, right? Like, this is rich for me right here. This is like that spiritual wealth. You know, this is that spiritual wealth that I absolutely love. And it's amazing because I get to have conversations with people. Like, the messages, like the people who send us messages, I just want you to know from the bottom of my heart, you guys like really help me out, because there's times where I struggle. I struggle even with the podcast. I struggle opening up, and I struggle talking, and I struggle just recovering out loud at times, because it's just, you know, sometimes I just do. But your guys' messages keep me going, man. Like, the love and the community absolutely keeps me going. It's a really beautiful thing.
Yeah, awesome, bro. I can relate to you. Like, again, man, we're so similar. It's crazy, man. It's amazing. Okay, last question, Dylan, before I let you go, is what would you say to encourage someone struggling to get clean right now?
Dude, that it's possible. Like, I thought my only way out was to end my life. I truly, from the bottom of my heart, felt hopeless, helpless. There was no hope for me whatsoever. I could not do this. I'm glad that you got clean. I'm glad the 12 steps worked for you, but that doesn't work for me. And I thought that I was unique, you know, just like so many people have. Like, I did. I thought my problems were either worse than yours or not as bad as yours. And either way you cut it, I didn't deserve help, and I couldn't get it. And there was no way I was ever going to make it. You know, I had one of the most insane habits I've ever heard of, and I got clean. It's 100% possible. No matter what people are thinking, saying, it is 100% possible. Please get help. Talk to somebody. If you have to, reach out to us. Send us a message. We'll give you a phone number to give a call. You can talk to one of us. You know, Goomer's always willing to speak on the phone. You know, send us a message. Go to a meeting. Be open in that meeting about what's going on in your head, what's going on inside. Like, that. Those are the things that helped me, man, was getting honest and building relationships with people who had been through or were going through what I was at that time.
Yeah, man, bro, me too. You know, I say this all the time. The hardest thing, the most difficult, challenging thing I've ever done in my entire life is be honest with myself. Yeah. Bro, that was worse than pulling teeth. That was worse. Like, nothing can come close to this at all. Like, nothing I ever would experience would be as hard as being honest with me. Like, for me, that's how it is. And, you know, you talked about just now building those relationships. And, like, I guess because of my culture and growing up in Hawaii, like, we're very family oriented. So I love to build relationships with people and drive them deep. You know, like in corporate America, you got to build like these surfacey relationships. But I was like, I never, you know, I was rebellious anyway, so I'm not going to even listen. You know, I did it anyway. And then of course I'll get in trouble, you know, but I didn't care. But I like your take and your attitude on the, you know, recovering out loud. Like you rather do that than lose a little bit of money. You know, you rather gain that spiritual wealth, like how you're saying, bro. Oh, that's so
Absolutely.
awesome, man. I wish we could go on another hour, bro, honestly. But you know, once a month, I'm starting to do it now. I don't have anything locked in for next month, but I go live with four of us a month. Once a month I do that. So it's me and three other guys, you know, kind of thing. So I mean, we'd love to get some of you guys on there. If all you guys want to be on there, like that'll be dope, you know. But I
Yeah.
definitely would like to get everybody in there individually, you know, to tell their own personal story as well. So, man, I got so much love for you, bro. I mean, it's so amazing, bro. You have a powerful story, bro. Powerful. Man, I'm so glad you don't keep your mouth shut about what God has done for you, bro. Because it's so inspiring even to me. I've been sober almost 5 years. But like it's very inspiring. The fire in me is very high. But like listening to somebody like you, it's like, oh man, let's go. You know?
I feel it,
Oh,
dude. I feel it, bro. I get pumped, man. I feel it, man. And Lika, I want to say too, man, I'm so stoked on what you're doing, bro, with the Pro Recovery Power and the movement that you're starting and the nonprofit that you're going for and the clothing, like all of it, man. Like I'm really stoked on you as well. Like, you know, I peep everything that you do and it's an honor, man. I'm super grateful that you have me on your platform, man, for real.
Yeah, it's awesome, bro. You know, honestly, I'm trying to do I mean, bottom line, okay, everything I learned in recovery, everything treatment centers taught me, my sponsor taught me, my book taught me. I mean, everything, honestly, like the bottom line of why I have the life I have today, this is it. My obedience to God, period. That's it, bro. Because if you look at everything was suggested, it all falls under obedience to God, for me anyway. You know what I mean, bro? So, I mean, I just try, like, with this nonprofit, PRP, like, it really wasn't my ideas. It started being planted in my heart. I could feel God talking to me. And I just like, okay, like all you got to do is point me in what direction. Like I'm a doer, man. I pull the trigger, no problem. You just point me, bam, I'm gone, you know, kind of thing. And that works against me sometimes. My wife is like, whoa, take it easy, you know. But hey, bro, it was a pleasure and an honor, man. I will keep in touch with you. We can chop it up a little bit more about you know, the next one and some other things you know, I want to talk to you about and stuff like that. But hey, I really
Absolutely, bro. You
appreciate you,
have my
man.
number. Yeah, you have
Yeah,
my
thank
number. Give
you.
me a call. Hey, everyone who watched, man, all your comments, I really appreciate it. I promise I was trying to read them, but I was kind of obviously trying to tell the story as well. So thank you guys so much. Alika, bro, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you for being a service to your mother-in-law today, bro. Like, what a gift. You know, we get to be of
My
service to
aunt, my
others.
girl's aunt. It's
Oh,
my
your
girl's
aunt, your
aunt.
aunt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay,
I'm
bro.
actually
You have
headed
a good
right
one.
back there. So thank you, man. I
Oh, okay.
appreciate it.
All right. All right, Dylan. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Take care, bro.
Peace.
All right, guys. Well, oh, wow. Dylan has a truly amazing story, man. It really moved me. If you guys got a story to tell, it doesn't matter how you got sober, whatever. It inspires hope. I would like to hear it. Reach out to me here at Pro Recovery Power. I'm going live at 3 p.m. again, Pacific Standard Time. So in about 2 hours, I'm going live again with Jenny. I went live with her sister a couple weeks ago, Jessica. This is the first time ever that I got siblings going live with me. Not together, though, but it's separately. It's just going to be Jenny telling her story of recovery. So I'll see you guys in 2 hours. Take care.